Hello, writers and readers. This is the Warden here again. It's day 5 now of NaNoWriMo, and I figured it was a good enough time to start giving a bit of an update. I have posted various things on the blog before, but it started running into a little bit of a hiccup yesterday, and I think I pretty much fixed it by the sense that I needed to kind of wrap up what I had as a chapter. So I have one chapter done so far. Of Messenger, which is my submission for my first year trying this out. And I know it's a little backwards and it's a little kind of strange, but I have actually kind of figured out a plot after working the first chapter of the book. The first chapter is basically, much like it is for a reader, kind of an experience, more of a gauge to kind of learn something about this character, to get a hint and to get a tease of what's to come. And I think it worked out quite well. So as I mentioned before, the idea is that there are messengers who basically connect these scattered communities all over this land that I have temporarily dubbed the Found Lands. And so they're basically the new adventurer, if you want to put it, for this particular world. What I've done within the first chapter is I've actually had him shown up within a community that was once known as Hollow to make a delivery. What that delivery is, you don't know. But basically going through the details, as it turns out that Hollow is no longer run by the elders who used to be there about a year before. And an organization known as the Seven Serpents have basically stepped in and basically overthrown the existing government, replaced it with their own much more oppressive regime who doesn't like messengers too much because of the free flow of information. So it's basically just going through the, like I said, the teasers, the ins and outs of being a messenger to get, the readers interested as to what's going on, to start showing them the differences between this world and most other fantasy worlds. When I got started, I had no idea about the plot. I simply liked the idea of showing a messenger showing up to a location, and the one that seemed to stick in my head was Hollow, which actually exists at the bottom of a giant pit. Used to belong to a creature known as a baril. And so having him go through the motions and to find out that this odd location that he's going to such great trouble to get to is actually an underground community of humans that they actually escaped there. Because the idea I have with this world is very much kind of like the points of light that Wizards of the Coast did, but I want to do it where, everything's not quite so settled and happy, and, humanity or humanoidity is not the dominant species on the planet. So in going through the motions of going through that, I've started to figure out that I want everything here in Hollow to have some kind of measure of importance, because it's only 50,000 words. I'm not writing a huge novel. I'm writing a short novel. So everything that's in there has to somehow work within the actual story. I don't have time or space to have Hollow be a nice little side quest and then that leads to the main story. So what I'm going to have is my messenger, Thomas, is going to basically be in Hollow to deliver a package. Which is a message from the former elder of the community once known as Hollow. Those are my dogs having a fight in the background, but it's play fighting. Don't worry about it, no matter how vicious it sounds. And that's an alarm going off. So the idea behind it is that he's there at the very beginning to make this delivery. And what he ends up being hired is not the word I want to use for it, but what he is requisitioned to do is to basically help a couple of people escape from Hollow. The biggest thing that's going on with Hollow, because it's being oppressed, is that it's important for the new elder to be able to escape in order to basically try and raise funds, an army, to win their freedom back. So that's what I'm going to have as the plot of it. And then along the way, as they travel to this location where they can meet up with some of these allies, start kind of opening up a broader sense of the world as a whole and how everything works, and start kind of picking at little details. I want this to be, because, so far, and just the way things are starting to flow out is actually working out really well. my goal is, even if this doesn't become published, is to use this as a bit of a teaser, and if I really like where I'm going with this, to provide it as a foundation for possibly some more novels, even a campaign setting. This is an idea, and I've, some of my friends who I've spoken to personally, may have heard me talk about some of this detail. And so that's what we're going with so far. So I have plot now, and I'm just about to get started on chapter 2. I haven't done anything so far yet today. I had a whole bunch of other... See, this is where I live, people. This is where I live. So anyways, yeah, I haven't had a chance to get started on anything today. Hopefully we'll be able to later on tonight, but I had to fire off a whole bunch of other things, and it turns out that my fiance wanted to rearrange the living room a little bit, so I had to offer whatever help that I can. So, yeah, that's real life stepping into the measure. And then on top of that, I have to get started. I've got a new project, a paid project that I have to get working on too. So we will see how this works out. At the moment, I don't have an accurate count. Actually, no, I do. It's 6,326 words so far. So about, 200 to 300 words behind at this point. I only got 857 done yesterday. Luckily, I overcompensated on the previous days when I was writing this, so I'm not too far behind. But at the same time, too, if I keep lingering this far behind at the end of every single week, it's really going to add up where I'm going to have to do a crunch day of putting in 2 or even 3 days worth of work at the same time, too. So, once again, after I've maybe showered and shaved and cleaned myself up and not make it look like I've been sitting in front of the computer all day, we'll get cracking on this, and then I'll keep you guys up to date.